Any type of forward aggression in this world is detrimental, not just the people that one power wants to be aggressive towards, but always towards its own people. Aggression by any country, no matter how powerful its weapons are, always ends up destroying that country. Even if it destroys the other country, it will be destroyed itself. So there's no more. There's the threat of all the threats what's going on in the world right now make no sense when the result can be catastrophic. Everyone wants to blame China. Why? Yes, you can say China has got these ideas in its head about certain things. And maybe it should be look for a more peaceful solution with Taiwan rather than an aggressive solution. That's for certain. Because how it helps China in any way by threatening Taiwan, or it's just a charade, I'm not really sure. But the point is, but everyone wanting to blame China. Australia wants to blame China. America wants to blame China. Everyone wants to blame China. And it's sort of ironic in a way that everyone rushed into the idea of China, encouraged China to manufacture all the things that companies and corporations in the West wanted to manufacture cheaply to increase their annual profits, which is the aim within the corporate structure, to actually increase profits annually, otherwise the CEO gets fired. Well, that alone has driven the West, all these Western corporations, into China. They have talked China a few years ago into opening its economy up into something similar to the Americas. The only difference is it's got a one-party system. To call it Communist Party, it's not really a communist system at all anymore. It's a one-party system. But then in Australia, for instance, we've got two parties with just one sort of system. It looks like there's two systems, but it's not. There's nothing different between them, only in perspectives or perceptions. In America, you've got two parties. Well, certainly there's a difference, but neither seem to be benefiting America as a whole, because they've foregone the manufacturing which has been going on for a long time. You go and get someone to make things for you which you can make cheaper than making them at home, and then you bring them in and import them and you close down your own factories. Been going on for a long time. But when you go and do that, as they did in the big scale they've done in China, because it's cheap labour, and the Chinese Communist Party was very, very eager to develop its economy and catch up with the West as prestigiously as it could, and that's what it became about, national prestige, to develop its country, and it's done such a fabulous job. There's no anyone who's been to China cannot help but acknowledge the amazing, astonishing amount of work that's been achieved by these people. It's never been done in history before, and that shows there's some good in this Chinese people, and there's good in Chinese people. But why it can't be discussed in a way that's not aggressive from the CCP and from Australia, from America, or anywhere else, rather than the acrimony over the COVID thing because of whatever that was. It turned out to be a disaster for everyone. What is the end result of that? A lot of misery in the world for how many years? Who's that making happy? Who does that make happy? The thing about it is, regardless of that, wherever that came from, it was let into the West by Western people. I mean, it just didn't make sense. Not one side seems to be to blame, and now it's all make China the enemy. And If you're looking for enemies, you get one. If you're looking to fight, you get one. And I don't understand why people aren't looking for peace, because surely, in the end, it's more fruitful for everyone to look for peaceful solutions. But to blame China alone, if it wasn't for China, another way of looking at it, if it wasn't for China, the real estate costs in Australia would be a lot lower, and possibly in America. Because the boom, China boom so-called, in Australia, allowed then real estate speculators, encouraged by the RBA, which lowered the interest rates lower in order to induce more and more speculation, and that then caused the real estate prices to go up and up and up and up on the back of China, because Australia wants to produce less and less, fewer things, and import them from China, and become almost totally reliant on China, creating its wealth in many ways. And that now it wants to say, well, it's all, we've got to be aware of this Chinese people, because somehow we haven't handled the negotiation in the first place on an equal basis. And this is, if you're going to go into a negotiation with people like China, extremely good businessmen, their business sense for them is to win a deal and get the best out of it for themselves for the long term. Whereas Western leaders, Western corporations have gone into China for the increase in annual profits, the yearly return or the political gain out of it. China's gone for the long term, for the development of its country and employ as many people as it can, in a similar system, a fiat system similar to the West, only it's got one party. But the Western corporations, which basically run the West, are a party in itself. The political players in the West are merely puppets for the corporation. But the annual profit thing in the corporation is the only impetus involved in doing the deals with China. So obviously, if that starts affecting your own economy in the end, because of your dealing as not being for the long-term benefit or equal, you should take the Chinese. Is this a 10-year gain or 10-year? Well, we'll match our policies to your policies, so we've got a balanced deal, so it benefits for us both in a sort of an equal trajectory over time. A cooperative approach to global negotiation was needed from the start. But that's the difference. There's the difference between China as a long-term goal for its country. And all these other politicians in the world should have a short-term goal. Whoopee, look at us, get a pat on the back, get a few free drinks out of it, or whatever. We get simple, immediate satisfaction, look at the deal we've done, and then the long-term consequence of that is a massive amount of unsurmountable debt, which all then benefits the Federal Reserve in America. That's quadrupling its coffers by all this debt what's going on. It's also being manipulated towards that end. And everyone wants to blame China. It's because they want to divert attention from themselves rather than have a decent, intelligent, grown-up conversation about everything and get it all out in the open. Whatever's happened, the best way to deal with it is to get it all out in the open and maybe renegotiate all the deals so it suits everyone, because that's got to be better than getting into sort of military conflicts where no one wins at all. No one can win out of any more wars. Everyone's a loser. Corporation, and everyone's a winner.